You are now chopping it up with the Nerd Barbershop Podcast.
Thank you.
Welcome to a brand new episode of the Nerd Barbershop Podcast. I'm Terrence Williams. Thank you so much for pressing play on this episode and hanging out with me for a little bit. So in this episode of the podcast, I'm talking about something a little bit different. It's not a question I've been directly asked, but it's definitely something I've seen on Facebook. I've actually responded to a couple of these questions, and it's how do you become a video game playtester? And there's a couple different routes. There's the more traditional professional route, which is, you become you study video game development, video game design, stuff like that in college. You work through that, get your degree, get your bachelor's or associates in it. You work for a video game company. You do Q&A, which is quality assurance, and that's kind of how you become a playtester. You kind of get, that's kind of how you work your way up from Q&A. You work your way all the way up the ranks. So that's kind of how it works professionally, in a normal setting. It's kind of like grunt work, because a lot of playtesters are really Q&A or quality assurance, if you will, and that's usually what they do. They're kind of like the ground level in video game design. A lot of prominent video game designers started in Q&A, and so that's usually kind of how it starts in general. Excuse me, I'm still fighting my sinus infection, so I might clear my nose every now and then. And so so that's kind of how it starts. But in more recent years, but for me personally, I've never really wanted to be a video game designer, but I always wanted to be a video game playtester. And I'm really blessed, and I thank God for the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel has actually given me a platform where if I see demos on Steam, or I come across demos on Twitch, or I come across demos on Twitter, or game developers mentioning stuff, I'll try to download it and play it. And that's kind of how it started for me, where I will find just a game I want to play. If it has a free demo, play the game for as long as the demo is, record it, upload it, maybe talk about it a little bit, post a YouTube channel, and then I will share it on Twitter, and I will tag the developers in it. And over the last few years, I've actually gotten to I follow different indie developers across Twitter, play their games, talk to them, upload stuff, talk to them about the games, about updates and things like that. And also what's helped me a lot is Kickstarter, where I kickstart a lot of games, and a lot of tiers in Kickstarter Kickstarter campaigns is demos, getting access to a demo, getting access to a beta, getting early access to the game. And I always make sure I buy that tier. When I kickstart, I make sure I hit that tier, so I have access to it. And most of the time, and I always ask different developers if it's okay if you record video. Most of them, 90% of the time, is yeah, but you never know. There might be some other stuff. It might not be finished, or they might not want to show off what they're working on yet. But always ask. But yeah, you kind of have to put yourself out there. If you play mobile games, indie, if there's a game that interests you and they have a play test or a beta, or you follow them, or you follow the developers and they're hey, we need testers for this game, sign up. Only thing they can do is tell you no. Or they're full. They can't do any more signups. But yeah, it's just, you have to kind of put yourself out there, find games that you like, and just play demos. I Kickstarter, and you don't get paid for it really, which I don't mind. So I pay Kickstarter. I put money into. I'm in a couple of Patreons. So shout out to Pixel Visions, and shout out to Bouncer Games. Those are two of the Patreons that I've been with for a couple of years now. Pixel Visions is the one I kind of started with. I don't even remember how I even found them. Shout out to Pixel Vision. Shout out to Bye Bye Blue. If you see me upload gameplay for Project Fantasy and Dojo Masters, those are the games from Pixel Visions. And Bouncer Games, I'm pretty sure Bouncer Games, they're actually based out of the Czech Republic. I think they started following me on Instagram. I noticed that they were a game developer, and I played their first game that they created called Headhunters. But they've been working on their own kind of fan-made version of Mighty Final Fight, which their project they've been working on. They're not getting paid for it. They're fans. They're doing it out of love. And I actually have gameplay for all three characters they had currently of Cody, Guy, and Hagar in that. And they're actually working on another game that they're working on, which I'm really excited about. And shout out to them, and I found them. They found me. I upload stuff. I'm in Discord for Pixel Vision, talking about their games and what they're working on. I talk to Monster Games on Twitter and in their Facebook group. And so yeah, you just kind of you have to immerse yourself in the community. You kind of have to immerse yourself, follow the developers, like play their games, tweet at them, let them know you're playing, what you like, what you dislike, give them feedback, and be courteous, because a lot of times they don't have big budgets. Some of them are they're getting bigger and stuff like that, but a lot of them are just starting out. And so they appreciate someone playing their game and doing, even if it's just a couple minute video or just demo game, just something, and sometimes your game becomes kind of this catalyst for the game going forward, where if the game gets more popular, your videos are kind of connected to that development cycle, which is really cool. And so, yeah, just kind of reach out, play games you enjoy, find games you like, and see if they have free demos or if there's betas that you can get into, or sign up for like email newsletters, or follow them on Twitter and Twitch and Instagram and Facebook, and just kind of immerse yourself. That's kind of the best way to approach it. Is just find it, and then over time, like now, I get Facebook ads all the time now for games that I might be interested in, and Instagram ads from games I might be interested in. Constantly, I'm always like, oh man, let me sign up. Oh, does this game have a demo? Does this game have a demo? Does this game have a beta? So it's a lot of stuff like that. And so, yeah, you just kind of take your time, and you have to just do the grunt work. You have to do the dirty work, if you will, because it's not, people are gonna come to you unless you get big enough where people have like Steam keys and stuff like that, and they give them to you, because I don't have a big enough platform yet, but that happens over time. But right now is just kind of just finding your way, and then a lot of times if you're immersed in the community enough, people will they appreciate it. And then if you're like, hey, I played your game, here's some gameplay of it, they'll share it to their followers on Twitter, and then they can maybe subscribe to the YouTube channel or check out the YouTube channel, and or your Twitch streams or your TikTok or your Instagram page or your Facebook page, like whatever you're doing. So it kind of works. It is really cool. It's not super easy, because it does take time, but you have to do a lot of work, and you're not necessarily going to get paid or get get recognition for it. It's just, if you love video games, if you like that type of game, you play it and you do it for them. So yeah, that's kind of my little story, my little backstory of how to get into PlayStation, how to become a video game playtester from my perspective. And you just gotta do some work, just play some demos, put yourself out there, do some Kickstarters, buy some, maybe do a Patreon. You don't have to if you don't want to, play as many free demos as you can, but sometimes the Patreons are kind of nice because it directly supports the developers. Kickstarters are nice because that money, if they hit their goal, directly affects the game and their development. So always keep those things in mind. This is just kind of one way. If you have other ways, or how you became a playtester, please feel free to respond to the podcast on Spotify or on the YouTube channel, or hit me up on social media, and tell me if you're a playtester, if you got to be a playtester, and how that worked out for you and how you went about it. So this wasn't gonna be a long episode of the podcast, but something I definitely want to talk about, because I've just seen a little bit, and maybe give a little bit of my experience and a little bit of my history being a playtester. I've also play tested some games where I had to sign some NDAs that I can't even talk about right now, but I got a couple of those in the bag too. So it's kind of fun. It's kind of cool to be a part of projects and seeing projects from the very, very beginning to see where they might end up in the future. So thank you for checking out this episode of the Nerd Barbershop Podcast. I greatly appreciate it. Again, sorry I sound a little nasally. I'm still dealing with a sinus infection, like I said. Hopefully I'll be done. Hopefully I can clear it up in a week or so. But it is what it is. But thanks for supporting the podcast. Thanks for supporting the YouTube channel. Of course, like, share, comment, subscribe. Give the podcast 5 stars on Spotify or wherever you listen to the podcast. Always and forever, slicing, dicing, gaming. Not just a motto, lifestyle. I'll see you in this podcast. Later.